Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our another episode of Smart Stack. I'm one of your hosts, Tom. Here, I'm with Massimo. Massimo, how are you?
Doing great.
Yeah, we both got our hats on today. I think that's the
Morning
bedhead.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah, morning hair.
Bedhead.
We
That's
film.
actually right. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I never wear a hat. Yeah, it's 7 a.m. We film these things, and so usually it's a mad scramble to get here, but here we are. And today we're going to be talking about what would you even call these? I guess AI note takers, right?
Yeah.
I think it's probably right. They're pretty popular, pretty exciting. I mean, they're pretty useful tools. You've been using one for a while, and you'll talk about yours. But I think it's one of these things where people always come to us and are like, "How should I be using AI? AI this, AI that?" Right? Like it's people are hungry to be okay. Yeah, there's this Chat GPT thing, cool, but how do I actually apply it to my business? And I think this is one of them, right? I think this is like a real
Totally.
application. Yeah.
Especially we deal a lot in our other lives in financial services, and there's a big compliance component of like making sure you take notes when you're talking to a client, and I said this, you said that, if it ever gets audited. And so they're definitely very popular, and you'll see in today's video very useful on that angle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, there's no shortage of AI like tools out there that it's just noise. Like I just talked to one of the leaders in the mortgage space here in Canada, tech side, and he's just saying like there's just endless noise. He thinks this year is the year where all the noise is going to go away and we're actually going to get some signal, but there's so many silly kind of like this AI will like write a song for your clients. It's like I don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not. But this is a real one. So we'll get into it. Before we do, maybe I'll let you start. But before we do, we'll do a little audit of our previous. So we did in the last episode we talked about the AI calendars. You
Mm.
did reclaim, and we'll draw the line at 14 days, 2 weeks. You had 24 views, so pretty good. And for
Nice.
me, drawing the same line, it's 22 views. Just missed it. I think you're at like 3-1 now.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
like,
don't know if Google likes
yeah,
my voice more or
you got a good
wait,
voice.
Google, right? Yeah, YouTube, Google. I have also been posting on Saturday lately, the last couple times, so maybe that's something. But anyways, yeah,
I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but those ones kind of were less popular videos.
yeah.
Our most
Cursor
popular videos,
smoked it.
yeah, Cursor and the Go High Level Chatbot. That's our top video. It's like
Really?
yeah, 116 views. So
So chatbots and AI are what people care about. Maybe I don't know. They're kind of intermingled.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, let's get into it here. So yeah, you've been using one of these AI note
Yeah, I'll
takers for a
talk about it.
while, so you're kind of the veteran here. I'd love to hear kind of your take and where you found it useful, where it maybe comes short, and I'll get into mine.
Yeah, and funny enough, I actually integrate it back to Reclaim, which is
There you go.
the app we
Sounds good.
did last week.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, so these note takers, it's kind of in the name. People have probably seen them, like Tom said, join meetings if you're not using it. If you ever see someone in a Zoom or a team meeting, and then all of a sudden there's another attendee with their camera not on, and there's typically like some text on the page, like note taker or helper or something. That's what these things are. So
Yeah, helper. Yeah, I've seen
yeah.
that. Yeah,
In
yeah.
essence, if you think of like an assistant, often if you deal with someone, an assistant joins the call and they're like, oh, I'm just listening in, taking notes. That's what it does. So all of these tools, Tom and mine. So I did Fathom AI. It will join the call. It'll give you the raw video, which is good, like just to record a meeting in general. But then kind of the value add is it takes the audio in the video and transcribes it, and it transcribes it like it'll say Tom said this, Mass said this. It'll go through the whole thing and grab all of that. And a lot of them, including mine, Fathom, will summarize it. And so this kind of gets into some of the cool features that I really like about Fathom. So Fathom came out, it's pretty new, maybe 3 years ago, but 2 years ago, they really started hitting a good clip. And that's when I saw them. And I've probably been using it for just over a year. They raised a big funding round maybe 6 months ago, is 17 or 20 million or something. And now they're really going to start integrating with everyone. How I found them was when they first came out, they only integrated with Zoom.
Interesting. Yeah.
And our team in our other life is a big Zoom user. And honestly, a lot of the virtual world now uses
Yeah,
Zoom.
you're getting a bit more teams now sneaking
Yeah,
in.
that's true. Yeah.
Maybe Google Meet, people who don't want to pay for Zoom. But yeah,
Yeah.
Zoom's. was pretty popular.
So they hit the market with Zoom. You had to be a Google user, which was interesting. So they had like Zoom integration, but not Google Meet. Now they do. Now they integrate with Teams, Google Meet, and Zoom, but that's where they stop. And I think Tom's is a bit more broad than that. But so their Zoom integration is really good. They have a direct integration with Zoom or a direct integration with your Google Calendar. And what that means is when you join a meeting, it just knows to join. It's
Yeah,
looking at your calendar and it joins up, which is really handy. You don't have to like tell it to come in. Now, it has a desktop app, which is neat. So if for whatever reason this meeting was spontaneous and not in your calendar, you can go to the desktop app and say, join this meeting, and you give it the meeting link and it'll just hop in.
do you have to manually, or is it somehow smart enough to see that the app loaded on your desktop and will jump in, or you have to kind of say, you
For
know,
Zoom, it's smart enough actually. And sometimes to an
Zoom?
annoyance, it like hops in and I'm like, I don't want you here.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
it that's obviously it should auto join, but for Google Meet and other ones you have to give it the link, but it will join. The other thing I really like about it is, so when you're actually in the meeting, so it has a desktop app. It's kind of, you'll see in my video, it's got a little almost like a live chat
Yeah, a
widget
little
floating.
floating
Yeah.
window thing. Yeah, yeah.
And you can actually hit buttons when you think something important was said. So they have certain tags like important or review or to do,
Yeah, yeah.
and it'll go back for the last minute and like highlight that. And so I find that handy. I use it a lot, mostly in sales calls. When something's said, I'll click that. And then beyond that, the part I really like is inside of it. And I don't know if yours has this, but they have different templates of summarization. And so there's a general one, and it's kind of what you think. It goes back and forth. Tom Mass said this. And then it kind of says, okay, summary is this, couple bullet points for the notes. But then you can use different styles like the, I don't know, Charles Schwab sales structure or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't
yeah.
know.
I always had one. It was like Bant, and I don't know, it's
Yeah.
budget something. Yeah,
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 yeah. So they have different note structures, I guess, or summary structures, and you can choose those, which is great. And someone on our team actually, a couple people on our team use Fathom, and someone on our team really likes a certain note structure versus the general one. So it's neat.
How are the I know like tasks come out of it. Are they usually pretty accurate?
Yeah.
That would be, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
the
okay.
part it's getting better at. So yeah, there's to do items or next
Yeah, yeah,
steps, probably in your tool too. But in this one, it can auto send everything to the attendees and me
yeah, yeah.
after the meeting, like via email. And so the idea is it sends that and it gives to do items, which is often what comes out of a meeting. You're
Yeah.
writing that in your notepad or whatever.
And yeah, yeah. Oh, I'll get you this or something like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And then
but
you
it's
forget.
not, it's
Yeah.
maybe 50, 70% in terms of who has to do that to do item.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
oftentimes in the summary, it'll say like Mass said this, he's going to do this. Tom said this. And then like, it's just like this, like,
Oh, it
it's
doesn't
not,
know. It's just
yeah,
like
it's
I
not,
don't know it.
yeah, it's like, I heard this. I'm not sure who's going to do it. So, I mean, but it is for when I first bought it, it didn't say who was going to do it. Now it's starting to say who. And so that's what I was mentioning with Reclaim. I send all of those into my calendar tool, but
Yeah. You do that through Zapier, right? Is that a native
yeah.
integration?
Yeah. So when we get
Yeah,
to the
okay.
integration, probably different than yours, that Fathom doesn't integrate with a lot of stuff. So that's definitely something that kind of worried me a little bit at first. So it integrates with Salesforce and HubSpot, which are two big CRMs, obviously. It only does that if you buy their team plan, which is more expensive than the one I have. And then it integrates with Zapier. So they were kind of like, well, we'll do two native and then one general and you figure it out.
And good
And
luck. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Oh, the other one that does integrate with out of box is Slack, which
So
I
what would a
think,
Slack be like? Okay, here the meeting that you just send to a same channel every time, and here's
yeah,
the meeting
exactly.
notes.
Yeah, it sends it to a channel. Some people use Slack as their freaking life. So,
It's their
like, as their
inbox, right? Yeah,
CRM, as their
yeah,
inbox. Yeah. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
anyways, the integrations are a bit light, but when you send it to Zapier, and that's what I ended up doing because we use Zoho. We don't use
yeah.
Salesforce or HubSpot. So I had to get a little fancy. It sends everything out. Like, it's a really good zap. It's not like it sends you one little piece. So
Right.
if you
You
know
can
what you're
actually do
doing,
stuff with it.
yeah,
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing, but you can actually you
yeah,
can
exactly.
do some damage with that. Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
the last piece I'll just touch on, and I'm sure yours has, and I show it in my video, is like the searching. There have been many times where I'm like, I know I met with someone and said this thing or
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
And so it just has like a general search
Yeah.
like Google.
Is it
And
okay?
And when you search, it'll search all the transcripts. So that's kind of handy because sometimes I don't remember who I said it to or when. And I would say it's like it almost always gets it. So
Interesting.
its transcription is very accurate.
Would you do, and then because this is one of the features in mine, so I can talk to it. It's like, will it do if they're really big? And honestly, I mean, I only did a couple test videos because I haven't been as big of a user as you. But what they had was a like a chat AI, again, AI chat bot does the same thing where it's like instead of just being like, weather, that was the example I did in the video because I talked about the weather in one of my tests. You'd be like, hey, I think I said weather recently to someone. Can you check? Like, it's a bit more natural language.
No, it's not that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like
Okay.
a Google search, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Just
So
find
yeah, yeah.
find the
So
thing.
no,
Okay. Yeah,
there's no chat bot.
yeah,
But honestly, I mean, just zooming out and then we can talk about yours. These tools in general, for me, you're more of a natural note taker and very good at it from how I know you. But for me, I say a lot of things in calls that I forget. I'm not
yeah.
taking notes.
That's a dangerous thing.
It
Yeah,
has allowed me to really focus on the conversation and not worry.
yeah,
And then if you take it a step further, which all these tools allow you to do, where it takes all of that and puts it in your CRM, or for me, I had to get a little creative, but it does the same thing.
yeah,
It's like great for compliance. And so, yeah,
yeah. It's
I
nice.
really like them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, I'll get into mine and yeah, it's it's one of these double-edged swords too though I find and like clients have complained about this and maybe not rightfully so, but there there's also something where it's like, oh, I can get a little bit lazy about my note taking or what I need to remember, right? It's like, oh, now I said I'll just say a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna do and the AI will take care of it, right? Or something. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is something to be said, is my opinion at least, where it's when you write something down or you do it manually, you say, oh, I need to do this. Like something gets kind of burnt into your memory, so to speak, right? Where it's like it's a little bit stronger.
There
Yeah, it's one of
definitely
those
is
things.
that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I notice with you, like we'll say something about a lead and you'll remember someone on our team says something. I'm like, I have no idea. Let me check the note. Like it's like,
yeah,
cause
yeah.
I was just like, and
Yeah, you're just going and oh,
and
look,
then often I see the note. I'm like, I don't even remember who this was. So I click the video. And then when I see the face, I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So
Yeah,
that's a fair point.
yeah. Does it have? So you talked about the desktop app of yeah, being able to record things as it's going. What's the kind of the primary interface though to like actually watch the video, play it back, set those different summaries? Is it on the desktop app or
No.
is that actually just in the web browser? That's all
Yeah,
web
it's just
browser. Yeah,
web. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And it's kind of what you think. There's a video in the middle, the summary, and then they have action items on the right. And they have like some share links. You can like click to share it to someone that doesn't have a Fathom account. And
yeah. Fine. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll get into mine. So I did Fireflies. I actually started with Otter. I've heard a couple of people talk about Otter,
Yeah.
and I started with that, and I was just like, this is terrible. I did not, I didn't think it was a good
Like the
happen.
summary wasn't good or the interface. And
The interface, like I couldn't
oh,
even get it set up, and like the integration was Zoom, and then it was one of these things where I didn't really like the vibe from the beginning because it was very much so like, hey, this can be your all-in-one, like collaborate with your team in Otter. And I'm like, no, like we have team collaboration
yeah.
tools. So I didn't like that. And then yeah, I kind of started trying to set it up and I couldn't do it. And we're really kind of techie guys-ish. And so I'm like, man, if I can't do this in 5 minutes of tinkering, it's like I don't. So I kind of gave up. So anyways, and then I switched over to Firefly and I did enjoy the experience there. I mean, a lot of overlap. I mean, at the end of the day, kind of with all these tools, they're kind of the same. I mean, there's some bells and whistles around the periphery, and I'll talk about those in a second. You've talked about them a bit, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's kind of more or less the same. It joins your meeting, describes the meeting, does a general summary, can do the bant or the this or the that, all these different types of contextual types ways of doing it. So yeah, so those are good. Yeah, I guess the things that would be specific. I mean, this was something I thought was cool, but it sounds like yours has this too, which when it joins a meeting, it'll actually send a direct message to you and be like, click here and opens up the web browser and it's a live transcription, right? So you can actually see the transcription of the meeting as it's going.
I don't think mine has that.
Yeah, I think it was something that they're saying Firefly's unique at. And the big one that I would see, it's like, okay, a colleague joins late or something like that. And it's like, what I miss?
True. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
doing the AI summary as it's going,
Hmm.
it's transcribing. So that was kind of cool, I thought.
They're remarkably fast at doing it. Like when Fathom ends, I like hop in and it's done, and yours is live. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
they're quick. Yeah, and then beyond that, yeah, I think the other kind of interesting thing is that okay, yeah, it's good with Zoom. It has a native integration, but it does do Teams and it does do Meet, and that's good. But it also like supported other ones. It was like, hey, just send us your blue jeans. That was one on there, I think.
Oh, that's a big enterprise. Like,
You
yeah.
know the other one? I was like,
Matt,
what?
you remember Matt? He sells
Yeah.
that streaming network guy. Yeah.
Oh, he sells. Okay, yeah. I was like, what is blue jeans? But I guess it kind of. I mean, I would guess that Fathom can do this, where it's like if I add a blue jeans link, it's kind of just like inviting a friend. Like you said, it's like inviting your note-taking assistant. Could you not
Yeah, I
just take
guess
the blue
so.
jeans link and give that to Fathom, and it just, anyways,
I haven't tried.
Firefly could. Yeah, I haven't tried.
When I looked up Firefly, it
Yeah,
integrated with way more like
yeah,
Teams, or sorry, GoToMeeting and
yeah, yeah.
Skype,
Go
and
to yeah.
Skype's dead now, I think. But yeah, anyways.
Well, Skype is Teams, I think now.
Yeah, they just merged it
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, so lots of okay things to join to integrate. But yeah, it was very big on integrating on the back end too. So CRMs you talked about, it's not just Salesforce HubSpot, it's Zoho CRM, it was Pipedrive, it was, all the names, they're all there. That's nice. And then also they were really big on like your tasks. Like they have a tab where it's like, okay, here are all your tasks across all your meetings. So you can kind of see them all. But like the very first thing at the top, it's like integrate with your project management tool. And then it would like integrate with Jira or Linear or like, I don't know, all these different ones, right? So it very much takes the ethos of integrating, saying, okay, we're just going to be the note taker, we're just going to do our thing, and then just go integrate, just do your thing. We understand how people have their own tools that they're already using, they've already built a habit around. We're just going to be a complement to that. So I didn't integrate it directly to these because I don't really use these types of tools like the Jiras or the Linears or things like that, but it was like kind of in your face almost about it, where it's like you should connect. Like this is the way we do things, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is.
And then yeah, the only other thing, well, two other things I'd say. One is kind of like I was talking about earlier, like like it really they have their AI, which they call Fred,
Mm.
and he's like floating around at everything. Even when a meeting's done, it's like ask Fred about the meeting, and it almost encourages it. So it can be like, hey, we think in this meeting we spoke about the weather. What was that again? And it'll kind of do that. Oh, Erica said this and that and the other thing, right? So a bit more natural language, I guess, which is good. I think you have to. I think it's still a very narrow use case. Like at the end of the day, a lot of these tools is like you said, the compliance and the note taking. The AI is a bit of a bell and a whistle. The only other kind of cool thing is they really hammered home this concept of like sound bites, which I think is similar to what you were saying, like when it's live and you say, oh, that's important, like
Yeah.
take that. But what it does with the sound bites, it does that. You can do it live or you can do it after the fact, like look up weather. Oh yeah, this is an interesting sound bite. I want to save it. And then you can create like playlists of your sound bites. So I don't know, like I'll use an example for us. It's like every time someone talks about our SMS integration or SMS feature, and I want a playlist about that because I want to, whatever, for product reasons or sales reasons, doesn't matter, know what all of our clients have ever said about SMS. So you can start taking all these SMS sound bites across all your different things, throw them in the same playlist, and then afterwards give it to your boss or in a meeting, just hit play and it's just going to be like boom, 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 all everything everyone's ever said about the SMS feature, right? And then you can do it across. So they do try
Mm,
to
that's cool.
lean into that and really make it a tool you can use for analytics and all that. And so that was good. So yeah, I mean, really the 80%'s the same, like a lot of these tools, and that's good and that's important. And then where this one really tries to differentiate is the integrations. And then is these like AI soundbite type things. Because I think too, you can do the manual soundbite, but you could also ask it to do, I think they call it magic clips, where it'll actually go through and try and find the sound bites based on, I don't know, AI, I don't know what it does, and then put it in the appropriate category. So I thought it was interesting. I mean, overall, I did think that it had a pretty good flow. I mean, I talked about comparing it to my experience with Otter, and this one was pretty intuitive. You just set up, you click, you go, and you're off to the races. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I remember looking at Firefly originally when I was looking at stuff. And one of the things, I don't know if they still advertise it, but at the time you could just upload anything.
Yeah,
You
you
could
can.
upload
You could.
MP3
Yeah, yeah,
files, or
yeah, yeah.
which I thought was cool. Mine, or Fathom, is just like it'll join a meeting. That's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're a bit more, but Firefly is, yeah, that they've got some cool features there. I mean,
You can do the
pricing, mine
uploads for
is like
sure.
20
Yeah.
bucks a month. I think yours is actually cheaper too, or it can be.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Right.
I thought it was this. I remember looking at it, I was like, oh, in my head, the same as Fathom. I mean,
Roughly
I don't
same
know. Yeah,
price. Yeah. Okay.
business 20, but yeah, 20 bucks a seat, and I think
Okay.
Fathom's
Yeah.
the same, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, the only thing that it didn't have that I was looking for, because I know you have it, was the desktop app,
Yeah.
right? Because I was like, oh, I'd love for an impromptu meeting to just have it and it joins. But to your point, sometimes that's actually annoying too.
Yeah,
having to
I
just
probably
type.
kick it out of, I don't know, 20% of my meetings because
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like the team's just like, can we have a quick Zoom? And then my Fathom's there. I'm like, oh, get out of
It's
here.
like here to take notes, and you're
Yeah.
like giving a quick 2 minute call. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like all these, more than anything, it's like the best tool is the one that you actually use. If you're a super heavy, CRM user, but also not wanting to do Zapier because you figure it out, Fathom, Zapier across the board, right? Like it's not, the integrations is not a differentiator for Firefly if you can do Zapier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these tools are getting really popular. We'll see and it's interesting because some of the softwares like Zoom has their own.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah, yeah.
sure, well, I don't know if Teams does. I mean, anyways, I think a lot of these softwares will start bringing out their own and we'll see. But I
Yeah,
also
but
always
it's
kind of
kind of like
wonder,
this whole thing too, where it's like, I don't know, man. I think consumers are gravitating towards this because even like you look at Google, Google has like the chat summary when you do a Google search now. And so it's like, oh, it's like an embedded experience. The tools you're already using already have this. But I don't know, like for me, even personally, it's like, no, I want a tool that's dedicated to this.
yeah,
Like this
yeah,
is what
that's
they
true.
do. Yeah.
I'm always kind of curious what they do with this data too. Like sometimes I say some pretty like confidential stuff in meetings and my Fathom's there and I'm like,
Best not to think about it, maybe.
yeah, I just tell myself, and I did, because I do deal with a lot of financial advisors, and a lot of them gravitate towards Otter or Firefly versus Fathom. So I don't know if they've. I think it's a data center thing. Fathom doesn't have data in Canada, whereas Firefly does.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you're trying some of these tools and they're free forever, keep in mind they're probably using your
Yeah,
content.
well, that's what it's always is, right? Yeah. If something's free, the product is you, right?
Yeah,
That's the old adage, right? Which is
yeah.
probably true. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. To summarize, just to wrap it up, should someone use Fathom versus Firefly? What would you say? One hit, what would you say? Is the desktop app, is that the biggest?
I guess so. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
It is cool. And
yeah. No, it
especially
is good. Yeah.
I've seen it, it does like the talk time too, where it's like you're talking too much, like
Oh
whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa.
yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
point. It does.
Yeah.
It's like 1.5 minute monologue, and you're just like, oh yeah, maybe I should shut up.
Starts flashing like your
Yeah, it
time.
does. A yellow flashing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is
So
good. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
That's really the biggest difference.
Yeah, and Firefly, yeah, I mean, these like little gizmos and gadgets of like, ask Fred about how your meeting went. It's like no one's gonna really use that, I don't think. It's like a cool thing to show in a demo. But I think it's integrations. If you can't do Zapier, or if you're not really familiar, or you don't want to maintain a Zap or whatever, then yeah, you're gonna be better off over in Firefly with those integrations. Cool, man. All right. Well, let's call it there. Good enough. We'll leave that as food for thought for the audience. What are we thinking for next week, or leave it a surprise?
Yeah, I don't know on the spot, but
The only time we've ever announced something that we're going to do next week, we
we
changed it
killed it.
midweek.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't. One thing that's interesting, I'll just say quick, is that yeah, our most popular video was this cursor one. I think it was the one we had the most fun doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're going to try and do, I don't know, a different type of cursor or take it a bit further, or I don't know.
I think we will. It
That's
might not be
something.
next week, but
Yeah. 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 We're not.
it would be cool to like,
Yeah.
yeah, build out a
Yeah.
server and have something live. That's what we've kind of chatted about.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
So, yeah.